Thank you for joining me on this adventure. Your presence means the world to me. Hello, dear viewers. Get ready to expand your horizons as we delve into Robert Waterton. Robert Waterton c. 1360–17 January 1425 was a trusted servant of the House of Lancaster under three monarchs, Henry IV, Henry V, and Henry VI. As Constable of Pontefract Castle, he had custody of Richard II after that king was deposed. In this section, we'll be exploring family. Robert Waterton, likely born circa 1360, was the son of John Waterton of Waterton, Lincolnshire, and Joan, daughter of Peter de Morley, 2nd Baron Morley. He had a brother, John Waterton, and was a nephew of Sir Hugh Waterton. Let's transition to career and uncover its significance. Like his uncle Sir Hugh Waterton, he entered the service of Henry Bolingbroke, the future Henry IV. In 1391 he was appointed Master Forester at Pontefract Castle, and in that year accompanied Bolingbroke to the siege of Vilnius. He was with Bolingbroke when he returned to Vilnius in the following year. From 1392 he received a yearly fee from Bolingbroke of £6, and in 1398 Bolingbroke granted him an additional annuity of 10 marks. In 1399 he was steward and constable at Pontefract, as well as constable at Tickhill Castle and Castle Donnington, positions which made him a dominant figure in the West Riding of Yorkshire and in North Nottinghamshire. He remained in these posts despite Richard I's confiscation of Bolingbroke's estates after the death of John of Gaunt in 1399. In June of that year Waterton was among the first of Bolingbroke's retainers to join him at Ravensbourne, where he arrived with 200 foresters, although according to a speech by the Earl of Northumberland in Shakespeare's Richard II Act 2, Scene I, Waterton was among those who sailed with Bolingbroke from the continent. Then thus, I have from Port-le-Blanc, a bay in Brittany, received intelligence that Harry Duke of Hereford, Reynold Lord Cobham, at late broke from the Duke of Exeter, his brother, Archbishop late of Canterbury, Sir Thomas Uppingham, Sir John Ramsden, Sir John Norbury, Sir Robert Waterton, and Francis Quint, all these well furnished by the Duke of Bretagne with 8 tall ships, 3,000 men of war, are making hither with all due expedience, and shortly mean to touch our northern shore. Bolingbroke was crowned as Henry IV on 13 October 1399, and on 20 November Waterton was appointed his Master of Horse. In he was sent on embassies to Germany and Denmark. On 28 November 1399 he was granted the manor of Dabbledyke in Gosperton, Lincolnshire, which had been forfeited by Sir John Bushy or Bussy. In January 1400 Waterton was one of those given custody of the former king, Richard II, at Pontefract. In 1404 he openly in Parliament rejected claims that Richard was still alive. With the outbreak of civil war in 1403, Waterton was instrumental in preventing the forces of Henry Percy, 1st Earl of Northumberland, from joining those of his son, Henry Percy Hotspur. Waterton then marched with Henry IV's army against Northumberland at Newcastle upon Tyne, and was later sent to arrest both Hotspur's widow and son. He was rewarded in August 1403 with the grant for life of a manor in Northumberland and lands in Yorkshire. Both grants were later confirmed to him and his heirs. In the spring of 1405 Henry IV entrusted him with the delivery of a message to Northumberland. Northumberland imprisoned him at Warkworth Castle on 6 May, but released him in June, his place as prisoner being taken by his brother, John Waterton. He was later made steward and master forester of 2 of the Percy estates. On 18 May 1407 the king appointed him chief steward of the north parts of the Duchy of Lancaster. In April 1408 he was involved in negotiations with ambassadors from France and in restoring order after Northumberland's last rebellion. In 1411 he was elected Sheriff of Lincolnshire. He was a witness to Henry IV's will, in which he was appointed as one of the king's executors. His chief stewardship of the Duchy of Lancaster was not renewed by Henry V, and his relationship with Henry V was generally not as close as it had been with Henry IV, although he was sent on embassies to France in 1414 and 1416, and was given custody of the young Richard, the Duke of York, from 1415 to 1423. From June 1417, an important French prisoner, Charles, Duke of Orleans, was in his charge at Pontefract. Henry V viewed with suspicion the friendship which developed between Waterton and the Duke, and had the latter moved to Windsor Castle. At Henry V's accession on 31 August 1422, Waterton was reappointed to his offices at Pontefract and Tickhill. In 1424 he had charge for a time of Scottish hostages, including James I of Scotland. Waterton acquired considerable property, including a grant in 1412 from Henry Ives' second wife, Joan of Navarre, of a manor at Hill which had formerly belonged to the Percys. In 1410, he exchanged his manor of Gosberton Gosberkirk in the south of Lincolnshire, with the master of the Hospital of St. Nicholas in Pontefract for the manor of Methley, where he built his fine manor house. This was the location of a royal lodge, and from here Waterton addressed his letter to Henry V on the eve of his marriage in 1420. He made his will on 10 January 1425, and died at Methley on 17 January. He was buried in the Waterton Chapel in St. Oswald's Parish Church with this epitaph: "Pray for the soul of Robert Waterton and Cecily his wife, that God will take to his kingdom their poor and endless life." His arms, displayed on his alabaster effigial monument, were berry of 6, ermine and gulls, over all 3 crescents sable. Let's zoom in on marriages and issue and understand its implications. Robert Waterton married Cecily, daughter of Sir Robert Fleming of Woodhall, sister of Richard Fleming, Bishop of Lincoln, and aunt of Robert Fleming, Dean of Lincoln, by whom he had a son and daughter, Sir Robert Waterton I, Joan Jane or Cecily Waterton, who married Lionel de Wells, 6th Baron Wells, by whom she had a son and 4 daughters. His son, Sir Robert Waterton I, married firstly, by 1398, Joan Everingham born 1362, widow of Sir William Ellis d. 1391, and daughter and co-heir of Sir William Everingham d. August 1369, VP of Skinninggrove, by Alice, daughter of John Grey, 3rd Baron Grey of Coventry d. 1392, and of her grandfather, Adam de Everingham, 2nd Baron Everingham of Laxton, for March 1309. By her first husband, Joan Everingham, had 1 son, Robert Ellis. By Sir Robert Waterton, she had a further son, Sir Robert Waterton II. Sir Robert Waterton I married secondly, by 1422, Margaret Clarrell, a lady of the Garter, widow of Sir John Fitzwilliam d. 17 September 1421 of Sprotbrough, Yorkshire, son and heir of Sir John Fitzwilliam d. 5 July 1417, by Eleanor Green, daughter of Sir Henry Green. Margaret Clarrell was the daughter of Thomas Clarrell, Esquire, of Aldwalk near Romish, by Maud Montgomery, daughter of Sir Nicholas Montgomery d. 1424 of Cubley, Derbyshire. By her first husband, Margaret Clarrell had 2 sons, Sir William Fitzwilliam, who married Elizabeth Choworth, and John Fitzwilliam, and a daughter, Eleanor Fitzwilliam, who married Sir William River. After Robert Waterton's death, Margaret Clarrell contracted a clandestine marriage on 7 February 1426 to Sir William Gascoigne before March 1454 of Gothop, Yorkshire, grandson of William Gascoigne, Chief Justice of England, by whom she had 4 sons and 5 daughters. Sir Robert Waterton, to be 1408, was knighted in 1434 and was High Sheriff of Yorkshire in 1441, married firstly, Jane, daughter of John Mears of Curton in Lindsey, Links, by whom he had a son, Sir Thomas Waterton. He married secondly, Beatrix, daughter of John Clifford, 7th Baron de Clifford, slain at the siege of Meaux in 1422. Sir Robert Waterton died on 13 December 1476 in Wentbridge, 26 April 1477. Remember to follow me on social media for behind-the-scenes content and updates.